Hi, this is Steve with Skeer Grading Solutions. Today I'll be showing you the traction level adjustment on all Skeer non-automatic models. We'll be going through the steps and tools needed to do the traction level adjustment, which is mandatory for the proper operation of these attachments. The tools needed today would be a powerful impact drill with a full battery, an extension of at least 4 inches, a deep socket of 1 inch and 1/8, a wrench of 1 inch and 1/8, a Westcott of at least 15 inches, some cutters, tie wraps, and rags. So when you receive the attachment from Skeer, on the pallet, the quick attaches will be offset, so one will be higher than the other, and that's done on purpose so that you do the traction level adjustment, which is crucial to our attachment. So basically, when you receive it, this quick attach will be higher up on a wooden block. You can take that wooden block off, loosen those bolts so that the quick attach becomes loose. So then you can now hook it up with your skid steer and bring it off the pallet and lay it down on a very flat surface. It is very important that you do this adjustment on a flat surface so that the cutting edge and the tracks of your machine are at the same level very precisely. That will be the crucial point of our attachment for the proper operation, ease of use, and stability of our attachment. So after you've done taking the attachment off the pallet, the next thing you want to be sure is that the tilt here is very straight with the indicator that's provided on newer models. So by looking at this part right here, if it's straight with the indicator, it means that the tilt plate here is completely straight and level for the attachment. On older models that does not have the indicator, you can view here those 2 chrome bolts. If you see that both are straight with this gray part here, you'll know that it's perfectly level as well. If there's too much tilt on one side, well, they'll be offset one or the other. The second thing you need to check is the pivot point as well. You can eyeball it to see that it's square here and not on any angle, because that could change the traction level adjustment and give you some bad results. When ordering a brand new attachment from Skeer, you'll be receiving one of these, a 14-pin electrical harness, which the pinout will be specific to your brand and model skid steer. When buying a used attachment, it might come with this electrical harness, but might not be the right pinout for your machine. So feel free to give us a call so that we can provide the right attachment. These hydraulic connectors are for standard flow, which I'll be showing you to connect them on your machine. First thing is to connect the 4-pin connector for the 14-pin. Then clean the both sides of the connectors so that no debris goes into the hydraulic lines. And then you can connect either or male or female. I'll start with the male. The next one. And the 14-pin harness has one big slot up top, which you want to install first, and then slide and connect. So after you've made sure that the tilt and pivot are placed perfectly, the next thing you want to do is make sure that the arms of the machines are all the way down against the chassis. It's going to be very important throughout the process of the traction level adjustment, and also when you'll be using the attachment on your jobs. So you want to make sure that arms all the way down. Second thing you want to make sure, as I had mentioned before, is that the cutting edge is flat to the ground, both in front and the back, as well as the threaded stand that's going to be found underneath the attachment. We've made sure at the manufacturer that this is level with the cutting edge up front with a level, and so when you receive it, it's supposed to be very flat, both the stand and the cutting edge up front. So next step is where you'll need the impact drill, the 1 inch 1/8 wrench, 1 inch 1/8 deep socket, and the 4-inch extension. So what you want to do is loosen the 2 exterior bolts of the quick attach and the 2 interior bolts as well to make this quick attach loose. So what you do is you put the wrench on the inside and the impact on the outside. As you can see, the bolts are loose. The inside bolts are actually welded onto the plate, so you only need the sockets. The last one underneath will need the 4-inch extension. And as you can see, now the quick attach is loose. I'll repeat the same process on the other side. And once again, the quick attach is now loose. So next step would be to hook up the machine to the quick attach and then lock it in place with the locking mechanism of your machine. If there's somebody else around the machine with you, you can ask him to make sure that the pins on the locking mechanism are both there, so that when you do the process of the traction level adjustment, the attachment won't fall down. The following steps will be very crucial and very important for the traction level adjustment. What you'll want to do is use the bucket curl movement to adjust these loose quick attaches so that the cutting edge up front will be flat with your tracks. One thing you want to avoid is this gap right here. You can see that it's a bigger gap on the bottom than on top, or it could be the opposite. If you're curling upwards a bit too much, it'll be smaller on the bottom and bigger on top. So you'll be able to correct this with the bucket curl movement. The next thing you want to check is the cutting edge that is flat to the ground, both in front and in the back all the way through. And the third thing you'll want to check is that little stand underneath will be flat to the ground as well. And you want to take a look at your indicator to be sure, once again, that the tilt plate is perfectly straight and that the arms of your machine are against the chassis. To get the perfect traction level adjustment, these 4 key steps must be done simultaneously. So here's a close-up view of the traction level adjustment being made. First thing you want to do is bring the arms of the machine all the way down, just like so, against the chassis. Then you want to start using the bucket curl movement to try to get rid of that gap between the quick attach and the back plate. As you can see here, he's using the bucket curl back and forth to get rid of that gap and to get it as small as possible. Then you want to make sure that the cutting edge is flat to the ground as usual, and that the stand underneath is also flat to the ground. Now that you've made sure that the cutting edge and the quick attaches are at the right place, you'll be needing the impact and the wrench once again to tighten up those 4 bolts. So once again, I put the wrench in the back, the drill up front. I start out with the 2 exterior bolts so that I can unhook the machine to then tighten up the 2 bolts inside. So you unlock the locking mechanism of the quick attach. You slowly unhook the attachment. Once again, be very careful not to pinch or pull these hydraulic hoses and line if it's still connected. So now I will tighten up the 2 bolts inside. And I will then torque these full strength at the end when I'm sure that the traction level adjustment is done properly. After tightening all 4 bolts on both quick attaches, what you want to do is bring the little leg stand all the way up. You won't be needing it when you're grading, it will just be in the way. So first thing you want to do is bring the attachment all the way down, curled up just like so that you can work safely under the attachment. That's where you'll need the 15-inch Westcott. So there's a lock nut up here that you want to loosen up first, just like this. And then the welded nut here that you can use to either tighten or loosen. So I can actually do this by hand right now since it's loosening it. So you bring it all the way up just like this. And then you want to make sure that both the lock nut and the welded nut is very tight. And there you have it. So after the leg is raised all the way up, you're down to the final checkup. So what you want to do is raise the legs of the machine up, curl upwards, bring all the arms all the way down against the chassis, and bring the blade down again to make sure that the cutting edge is flat with the tracks. So once again, you bring the arms up and curl upwards, then bring the arms down, curl down, and if you're alone, you want to be sure to get out of the machine to come check the cutting edge to be sure that both the front and the back is flat with the tracks of the machine. And once again, this is the crucial part of our attachment. So if need be, get out of the machine, step backwards a little bit, be sure that both the front and the back is flat with the tracks. So after you've made sure that the traction level is perfect and the cutting edge is flat with the tracks, the next thing you'll want to do is secure these hydraulic hoses and the 14-pin harness. It might have a little bit too much slack or not enough right around here. You don't want it to interfere with anything and get pinched or hit the tracks while you're grading. There's 3 points where you want to secure it. So one on the arms, one on the allocated slots where the hoses are going through, and then up here so that the wings and the whole front end doesn't hit on these hoses. So first thing you'll want to do is raise the arms all the way up. Make sure that your locking system is secured so that you don't drop the attachment. Once again, if somebody else is around with you, make sure that he sees those pins here. So you want to curl forward until the attachment is all the way down. And that's where you'll see all this loose here. So what you want to do is pull it through the allocated slots. So if I pull really hard, you'll see that this is too tight. So you want a little bit more loose here, right about here. If you don't have anywhere to secure it on the arms, you can get one of these magnets that hook on right here. And that's where you'll need the tie wraps or zip ties. So you start by here. And I'm not going to secure it all the way right now, so I just want to make sure that I secure it at least in 3 spots before tightening those zip ties. So one down here, second one up here, another good indicator is the loop you'll see here. If it's really close to the pivot point of the arms, that means you'll have a really good setup for the hoses. It won't be too close to the tracks, and every time that the bucket curl will pivot, these hoses won't get in the way. The last part you want to tie it up to is around these hoses right here. So I can start tightening now. So this one real tight. This one here. And the last one around my magnet here. So this completes the initial setup and traction level adjustment of the non-automatic Skeer models. If you're changing tracks or doing major maintenance to your machine, including the undercarriage, or is changing machine and model, going to another brand or different size model, you do want to do that traction level adjustment again to be sure that the cutting edge is going to be flat with your tracks, because the geometry of the machine might not be the same. Now, in the back of this front shell here, you'll find a QR code which you can scan with your phone. It'll bring you right back to this initial setup and traction level adjustment video. So if you have any questions, feel free to visit our website or give us a call. Thanks a lot for watching.